Hey there! Imagine you owe your friend Bob 10 pizzas. But here's the thing, Bob's not actually hungry right now. So instead of giving him the pizzas today, you promise you'll give them to him next year. Now, if a year from now, pizzas are smaller, cheaper to make, and way less tasty, because someone invented diet pizza, you just saved yourself a ton of dough literally. You still paid Bob, but what you gave him wasn't worth nearly as much as before. That, my friend, is a little like why governments secretly love inflation. See, countries owe a lot of money, like we'd need a warehouse just to store all the IOUs kind of money, and they don't pay that back in gold bars or treasure chests. They pay it back in their own currency. Here's the trick. If that currency slowly loses value over time, those old debts get easier to pay. It's like agreeing to pay someone $1,000. But by the time you actually hand over the money, $1,000 only buys what $800 used to buy. You've basically shrunk the debt without actually saying, oops, we're not paying you. It's sneaky, it's legal, and it's happening all the time. And you might be thinking, wait, don't they hate inflation because it makes groceries more expensive? Sure, they complain. But here's the unspoken truth. A little inflation is like that friendly neighborhood raccoon. Yeah, it makes a mess in your trash sometimes, but it also eats the bugs you didn't want around in the first place. Debt is the trash. Inflation is the raccoon. And governments, well, they've learned how to leave the lid off the bin just enough. And here's where it gets kind of funny. If inflation is too low, governments actually start to panic. Why? Because their debt starts to feel heavier. Imagine Bob suddenly decides pizzas are now triple the size and loaded with premium toppings. You still owe him 10 pizzas, but now those pizzas cost you way more to make. That's what happens when there's no inflation or worse, when prices fall. Debt becomes harder to pay back in fatter dollars. But if inflation is too high, it's chaos. People rush to spend money before it loses even more value. Stores change prices daily, and suddenly your paycheck feels like monopoly money. So governments don't want a wild raccoon ripping apart the whole neighborhood. They just want it to nibble away quietly. And here's the secret sauce. Governments have tools to keep that raccoon hanging around. They can tweak interest rates, print a little more money, and spend more than they collect in taxes. All of that adds a gentle push to prices over time. The best part? Most people don't notice. A dollar losing 2% of its value each year doesn't feel dramatic until you realize, over a decade, that's like slicing a quarter off every bill in your wallet, quietly, in the background, every year. So, in conclusion, governments secretly love a little inflation because it's like a slow magic trick, shrinking their debts without ever announcing it, while the rest of us just think, why is bread more expensive again? It's not evil masterminds twirling mustaches. Well, not always. It's just math, politics, and a touch of self-interest all rolled into one. Thanks for watching.